Hi everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program PvP. I'm 4040 and we are continuing our awesome series to try and conquer the galaxy, or at least wrestle parts of it away from the other corporations and the Northern Coalition. And talking of the Northern Coalition, they kind of did... well, they had a really good turn last turn. They've managed to clear out Simon's Sharkorp Corporation from around Kerbin here, so there are no offensive or enemy ships now to the Northern Coalition sat in orbit around Kerbin. They then went on to attack the Mun. Now, fortunately, my ship in orbit around the Mun, which is the Mantis Interceptor, the Mantis Interceptor, that fared a lot better. It was attacked by a interceptor type class that the Northern Coalition like to use. I think it was the Ghost Interceptor, and my ship's automated defences managed to fight it off. My ship suffered, if I go to it and click fly, although I'm not going to touch the controls, so this isn't my action for my go, but I show the damage that's been done to it, which is kind of interesting. The ship is fully functional still. The ship still works, it has all of its essential systems, but as you can see, it's lost all of its armour on one side. Effectively, what happened is my ship's armour got blown off while my ship fired back and almost one-shotted the enemy craft's cockpit. So there's always a danger of having an open cockpit, and their cockpit was near the front of the vessel, and I just managed to get a lucky strike and take it out. My vessels here, they also have a very open cockpit, and I suspect what I think happened was the shots were trying to hit my cockpit, and they kind of came in from this kind of angle and hit the armour, because we're missing one of the little SAS kind of modules on the back there of one of the fuel tanks. But yeah, essentially this ship is still 100% fully functional. It's not lost. It's lost some of its weapons capacity. It's lost 2 guns on top there, on the other side there, but assuming now I have guns on the wingtips as well there, so it's still covered. It still has firing arcs, and I've still got all of my missiles and my cannons, so yeah, I managed to defend myself happily, which is really good. So I still have control of the Mun. They had a go and they didn't succeed, but then it seems like the Northern Coalition took offence at the corporations declaring Minmus as a free port away from Northern Coalition. So the corporations have decided, or had agreed, that they would not fight each other around Minmus. Anybody could come and sit their ships around Minmus unless they were Northern Coalition, and the corporations would gang up against the Northern Coalition. I believe currently that in the play of things, as far as I understand it, let's get rid of Flight Engineer, Sharkorp has concentrated on claiming Kerbin. I've concentrated on claiming the Mun, and so far I've been the only person who's had significant ship presence around Minmus. Although it is a free port, as I had the majority of control, it counted as my control, although I'm not going to fight anybody for it if they send their own fleet there. Well, the Northern Coalition didn't like this and sent their own fleet. They've got a heavy Wraith Interceptor, which is very good at killing big ships, lots of armour, lots of machine guns, all good all-round defence, but it's a relatively large target. And they sent their brand new, well, large capital class ship, which was being developed in orbit around Kerbin and flew straight here as part of its large fleet, with various different fleet members peeling off to deal with the Mun, and other fleet members continuing out to deal with, I think, Hemi-wired? Yeah, here he is. Yeah, the Hemi-wired Sharkorp Duna Visitor was attacked. Here you go, HWE Corp, Dreslander, and NC Ghost Interceptor. That was that one, which was also attacked. So I've decided to put together a ship that will hopefully be able to do a good strike against these two targets. So if I bring you back to the Space Center, and I can show you on the launch pad what my little ship's about, and we can launch her off. I need to actually add some cameras to her as well, so you guys get some good views as we're launching. So let's go to the VAB and I'll whip out what I've come up with as an answer to what's happened around Minmus. I'm not happy about it. They've killed quite a few of my Kerbins now, the Northern Coalition, and I am still very happy to fight the other corporations for control of the Mun and other planets that I have further out, but I'm going to concentrate on giving Northern Coalition a bloody nose, because it's taken them a while to get this fleet together. My ship in and around the Mun has managed to deal with one of their fleets, so one of their fleet ships, so they have only a few ships in orbit around Kerbin. If I can deal with this, which will seriously put the Northern Coalition on a back foot, I would imagine, because it's taken them quite a long time to put together this capital ship and to pull together this large fleet. So I'll just wait for Kerbal to load up. It's quite a big ship, I must admit. Right then, so let's get rid of Kerbal Engineer, because we don't want that. And let's pull away MacJeb. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Alright, let's just Ctrl Z that one. Ctrl Z. I'll wait for the program to catch up with us. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of tower-type rockets which are all tied together, which is basically my... It's not a... I don't have a standard launch stage, but I have a theme that I like going along with. And my theme currently is lots of tall rockets alongside quite unwieldy objects. It just seems to work better. I've tried launching ships in different configurations, and having these rockets spaced around it, all adding support to each other and the payload, is pretty much what you want to have to do with large ship builds. Now, I have the choice of sending up a capital ship of my own, but they're big, they're expensive, there are a lot of resources to deal with. So what I've done, I decided, well, I want to send up some of my interceptors because they really work. I've changed the payload layout because I decided that the rockets were a bit too slow. We needed something with a heavier punch, with the ability to strike out at over 2k, because the cannon and the rockets are slow, relatively speaking, in distance, and the target will have moved by then. So I decided, well, let's send an interceptor up, and I've done before, I've sent up 2 interceptors, or an interceptor and the bomber, so I went, okay, 2 interceptors, so I built this kind of frame in the middle here. I'm trying to give you a good angle, but there's lots of rockets in the way. There you go, let's try and zoom in there a little bit without clicking on too many things. So there's this frame in the middle here, which comes down from the top bits here, the bits which are the exposed ends, which are deliberately built so you can attach things to the underside here, which comes down as this H-frame and collects onto the front of the next ship. And I thought, well, I've got more than enough lifting power, so I can always add something onto the side. So I thought, well, how about... I wanted to send up a large capital class ship, and a capital class ship basically was, the last one I did was Leviathan, and as a little nod to Leviathan, I decided to launch... that I wanted to launch some drones, which are these naughty buggers. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to attach to my drones, which I shall have to do now, which is aerials to be able to control them. Aerials, we're in trouble. Right, just go X, and that should attach the aerial to the other side. Let's have a look. Yes, it has. Okay, so these are drones along a very similar basis to the drones that are on the Leviathan. These side fuel tanks have been moved up to get a better centre of mass, and instead of projectiles that fired off them with a range of about 400 metres, these now have the self-defence 50 cal cannons. So not a massive punch, but 450 cal cannons will be able to put a serious dent in a ship. And, well, these drones aren't armoured in any way, shape or form, so they're light, they're fast. That's kind of bad when you're facing off big capital ships with lots of defences. So I developed a decoy, which also acts as a ram. Now this decoy, it's similar to the old-fashioned ballistic weaponry that we used to use, which is a all it used to be was a fuel pod, a very small engine. You point at the enemy ship, you throttle up, you let it go, and it races off towards the enemy. This, though, I've gone for a very small engine, seemingly too small, but it's so that this moves along at a slower rate. I want it to be a target for longer, as opposed to just racing past the enemy ship and then it's gone. So that when the enemy is concentrating its firepower on this, and this is made out of box girders and armour plates, all stuff with very high resistance to being shot, so hopefully it'll last just long enough for my little drone that will be following it behind, not overtaking it, will get some decent shots off on critical components I'm aiming for. Just trying to take out anything that's not hugely armoured. Very heavy armour will deflect 50 cal rounds. We already know this, we've tested this, but then I'm hoping that I'll be able to take out like radar dishes and stuff, or defences, or maybe even the weapons on the outside. And I've got 2 of these, and I don't know how much damage I'll be able to do, but basically once these have been used, or if they've destroyed, they are an experiment after all, I can then come in with the interceptor and at a very long range use these 20mm cannons, sorry, not 20mm, yeah, 20mm cannons, and really do some damage, as much damage as I can, more damage than with the 50 cals, but I'll basically turn all the weapons on this ship and just fire everything at the enemy ship and just see what we can do. So that's pretty much it. So all I need to do before I launch these is crew her. Now, I'm not sacrificed Jebediah. Fermium's okay. Let's go for Edinkerman. He's cool. He's got lots of courage. Donsor Kerman, and I want a high courage, not much stupidity. That one. That one. I don't know how to say his name. So we've got 4 crew on this ship. 4 crew, 2 on each of these pops. And let's go to our parts. And I want to put some cameras on here, so you guys have got some cool angles to watch our launch. So I believe my cameras are in utility. They're just hiding away. Here we go. Okay, so first things first, I want a launch cam. Now the launch cam is gonna have to be down here somewhere, I think. Yeah, let's put the launch cam here, on this one. Now let's turn... Nope, you don't want it to be symmetrical. Off the symmetrics. Let's pick it back up again and turn our symmetrics off, and I want our bombing off so it will just sit. There we go, that's what I want. I kind of want it tilted back, and I want it to be looking up. Right, looking. So that one is going to be looking up as this thing takes off, so you get a nice view of the engines all lighting off, which is pretty cool. And then just put an aero cam on here. Let's put one on this one there, just looking down, and let's put an aero cam on there. There we go. And I'd like to put an aero cam on these guys. So if they drop away from the ship, you'll get a good view. Okay, so we've got cameras set up and we've got our crew set out and our stages already, so I'm just going to quickly save the ship and we're going to head to the launch pad, and I'll be back with you once it's loaded. Okay, it looks like I'm suffering from the same problems I had with the Leviathan, where there's just so many parts on this, the game just kind of, in its processing, forgets that certain parts are attached. It looks like that one's still got its struts now, so that one's probably not going to fall off. Don't know why. Don't know why that happened. It just did. Bits randomly falling off. Yay! Kerbal Space Program. Orbital altitude 100 km. That's fine. Engage. Activities. Smooth throttle for the time being. We may kind of have to. So we've got quite a lot of cameras here for me to cycle through. So let's try and find our launch camera. Should be. I've definitely gone past him first. It should be pointing upwards. That's it. Okay. Engaging autopilot, and I'm gonna dub this over with music, and I'll see you guys again once we are in space, and you guys can watch the full launch or fast forward as you like. Hi everybody, we are back and I've managed to get her into orbit, this kind of multiple deployment vehicle thing. So we are going to plot our course to Minmus and make sure the Northern Coalition knows what happens when they... Minmus, set as target. When they have to deal with me. So what I will be first doing is going towards our maneuver planner, and I'm going to match planes with my targets. My target, as I've just set, as Minmus. Minmus, yep. So create and execute with auto warp on, and I'll end up in the right orbital plane as Minmus. So as you can see, I've got to go around the planet once. And then I've got to burn all the way for Minmus, which won't take a huge amount of time. It will just take a little bit of tweaking here and there. So I think what I'm going to do, folks, is we will be cutting at some point, and I'll probably be bringing you guys back in once we've got to Minmus, when the fireworks can start and I can test our new drones.